Alright, so today we're going to be going over the dark side skips. This is a trick that was found a couple months ago, and basically what it allows you to do is it allows you to skip 3 of the 4 bosses here. So, as you know, in dark side you fight Topper first, then you go to Harriet, then you go to Spirit, then you go to Rango. And for each one you have to fight the boss. And you defeat the boss, he spawns some coins, the path opens up, and you're free to go to the next boss. And you go through this 4 times, once with each of the 4 different Brutals, and then you fight the Mecha Brutal at the end. However, with the Dark Side skips, we're actually able to skip 3 of the 4 different bosses. So for whatever reason, Harriet doesn't trigger like the other bosses do. There's an extra check at the end. But for Topper, for Spirit, and for Rango, we can actually do this jump around the side. And we're able to entirely skip having to fight the bosses. I'll explain how this works in just a minute. Bump the camera there. But as you can see, Topper isn't triggering here. If I go a little bit to the left, he will, but I'm not going to do that. I'll just jump out the side here. And this is how this works. Alright, let's go into some more detail. So first of all, start with the long jump. Now this long jump angle isn't super precise. You can go very far to the right and still make it. Just be careful not to go too far left, because if you're too close to the arena, the boss fight will actually trigger. So just try to go something at this angle. It doesn't really matter, but just as long as it's close to this, you should be fine. Okay, so now you're going to do a homing cap throw, which is basically just a cap throw, and then you want to home it back in instantly. The best way to do this is to use motion controls. So use motion control to throw Cappy out, and then motion control to bring Cappy back in. And then right when Cappy comes back to you, you want to press A or B, and that'll make Mario Rainbow Spin just like you saw there. So just like that. The next part is a down throw. So this is the reason that you need Joy-Cons for this skip. I'm sure most of you who have heard about the Dark Side skips have heard that you need Joy-Cons for them. This is why. So you actually can't make it with the normal cap throw. You need to do a down throw cap bounce, just like this. So I know that looks intimidating, but it's really not that bad. Mario can be a little bit higher, a little bit lower here. This is about the place you want to be, though. So, fortunately, there's moon gravity, and so it's a little bit easier to position Mario. You have a little bit more time to press the inputs and make sure that you have the correct timing. But you just still want to make sure that you're doing it about this distance above the poison. If you're too late, then Mario's going to be too low, and you're going to undershoot Cappy, because Cappy's going to go too far. And if you're too high, then Mario's just going to overshoot Cappy, and you're not going to be able to make it to the wall. So anyway, you make it to here, and now you see this little line that comes out, right? You see this line of light to dark to Mario's right. There's a little lip that sticks out on the wall, and you're going to see me wall jump off of that right there. So, right there, that's where you want to wall jump, because that angle, or that wall's a little bit angled, and that allows Mario to have slightly more leftward momentum, and so this next part is going to be easier. You can do it on the normal wall, and I'll show a clip of that later, but it's definitely easier to jump off when the wall jump is at an angle like this. At this point, you're going to do another homing cap throw. This is just for distance. You don't really need it, but it definitely helps you a lot, so I'd highly recommend doing it. And then this last part is the part that makes this skip possible. So before, we didn't find a place in the wall where you can do this, but in Super Mario Odyssey, there's some specific wall geometries that if you dive into them, then they will actually make you wall slide instead of bonk. So I don't understand why, but if something with the angles allows Mario to slip down the wall and then wall jump instead of just bonking here. So this is another place that is kind of precise, and it's a little bit hard to tell if you're doing it correctly or not. So this definitely will take some practice, and you'll have to get a feel for where you can dive and where you can't. And I'll show a couple clips of failed attempts as well. But anyway, so you dive around here, and then after that it's pretty easy. Simple wall jump. You don't even have to do a homing cap throw. You can just do a cap throw and a dive if you want to. But again, that's a little bit harder, so I'd recommend doing another homing cap throw. That is definitely something that you will need to get good at, because you're going to have to do 3 for the most consistent way. Again, you can cut out a couple, but it's definitely worthwhile to get good at those. Before I show the errors, I'm going to show one more successful clip. This is not something I'd recommend, but I do want to show that you can make it work. So here we're going to wall jump off this part of the wall instead of the angled one. And as a result, the momentum is going to be perpendicular to the wall and pretty much perpendicular to where Mario wants to go. So it's a little bit awkward, but if you angle towards the front of the room and you do your homing cap throw, you can actually make it on this part of the wall as well. So you see this little area where Mario hit right there? I'll show it again. Right there. So you're actually able to do the same thing on this part of the wall as well. Just wanted to show that off. Now that you know roughly how to do the dark side skips, I'm going to show you a couple failed attempts so you can see what went wrong and what we could have done differently to fix it. So this first one here, I'm going to trigger the boss fight early. And so you see the long jump angle is fine here, but then I angle a little bit too far left. And as a result, the boss fight triggers and I have to fight Topper. The next possible error is throwing Cappy too late. So here we're going to let Mario sink down too far after the homing cap throw. And you're going to see Cappy's very far in front of Mario, and Mario's very low to the acid. So he's actually not going to be able to hit Cappy. This next clip is just the opposite. So we're going to throw Cappy too early, and Mario's going to overshoot. Now I will say, sometimes you can make this work if you pull back a little bit on the dive. But then your momentum is pretty much gone, so you have to be very careful about that. Okay, so once you get the cap jump down, you got to make sure you have the correct angle. So here you're going to see I'm very far to the right, and I'll show it again. So you see the shattered rock. I usually use that as a visual cue. So you're going to see I'm angling for the very right side of the shadow. This is bad. You want to aim more towards the left side. And so here you're going to see I'm going to compensate for it. And I'm actually going to wall jump but hit the ceiling right there, because the wall is a little bit strange with this geometry. So you're going to hit the ceiling right away and you can't really do anything. You can't wall jump again. You just kind of have to accept the death. Okay, so we finally made it into the air. The next thing that can go wrong is you're going to bonk on this side of the wall. So my visual cue for this part is I like to use this light face of the rock here. So you're going to see this, the right side of Mario is a little bit more gray, it's darker, where the under him is a little bit lighter. I usually use that, and I try to go for the lighter part. So you're going to see there, I just missed it. I was a little bit too far to the right, and so as a result, I ended up dying. Here's the same error in a slightly different place. So this time we're going to be too far down and too far to the left. So Mario bonks right here. If you're a little bit higher, sometimes it can work. But I usually aim for a little bit more to the right here, and usually that's fine. Also, I said I was too far down. This angle's a little bit weird because I'm pretty close to the wall. So if I was a little bit further away, I might have been able to make that work as well. So now that I've scared you enough with the mistakes you can make, here's the successful clip one more time so you can see what I did right here. So I didn't trigger the cutscene. My cap jump was good. It was not too late, not too early. And you can also see that I was aiming for the left part of the shadow like I was talking about earlier. I hit the angled part of the wall. I go right in the middle of this slanted face here. And then I'm able to wall jump and make it safely to the platform. And that's all you need to know about dark side skips. Let me know if you guys have any questions or comments. And if not, see you guys next time.